Every year of the middle of my childhood, my dad would vanish for a week. Then, after 7 days and 7 nights, he'd return with bagfuls of gifts like Tim Allen's The Santa Claus.
Your dad's here.
If that's a relatable story to you, sorry, my dad is probably the only one with a reasonable excuse because, as an industry professional, he was at New York Toy Fair, where suits and yuppies make the business end of the toy industry happen. He always came back with goodies, stuff like wind-up sushi and promotional frisbees and Exo-Force Lego sets, sure, but never putties, no slimes, no sands. Sand hadn't yet been invented. Slime was entirely theoretical. On the convention floor, he would not have found rows upon rows of slop buckets open for public squishing, nor temp workers talking about the products that have just gone so viral on TikTok. No, things have changed, and there exists in this world, at this fair, a compelling Ouroboros, a snake eating its own tail. You'll find out what that means as we go along, but you don't know yet, and neither did my dad when he attended a version of Toy Fair that no longer exists. No, that was more than a decade ago, in a different world entirely, where our hands were less sticky, and none of us had ever heard nor uttered the words, Hi, I'm Jetkuso, and I want you to guess a percentage. How much of the exhibitor's floor at Toy Fair 2025 do you think was taken up by products that one could describe as oddly satisfying? I'm talking sands, slimes, clays, putties, squishies, squeezers, and slop. Would 40% shock you? Would 50? 60%? Well, I don't have an empirical number, but in my subjective, skewed memory, I'd say every 5th or 6th booth I walked past would fall under the oddly satisfying umbrella. The sticky, goopy, ineffectual umbrella. Look, I get it. I'm not gonna shout at clouds over this. Let he among us who has not watched 10-hour oddly satisfying compilation relaxing videos to fall asleep to cast the first stone. We are tactile beings, driven by animal impulses. We are meat that thinks with electricity. It's actually crazy that it's taken this long for capitalism to figure out that all humans want to do is plunge our hands into goo. From goo we came, and to goo we shall return. In fact, it's a blessing in disguise that slime has been degendered by the industry. If it's gonna be around, it should be destigmatized and acceptable for all kids to enjoy. Slime was an icky, nasty boy's toy for decades, an enhancement to a Ninja Turtle or a Jabba the Hutt. But come on, everyone wanna get down into slop. We want to feel things, new, novel things. Sensations are what a budding mind is drawn to the most. And also, my mind, well past the solidification of my prefrontal cortex. The internet was all it took to put cracks in the bulging Pandora's box that has so improbably contained the spread of slime for this long.
Whoa, Spider-Man! Because what's very important to, look, if you watch TikTok, this is the way you make slime. You have a collectible, and then you have something that is like this, super stretchy. And look, Mom, it doesn't stick to the hands, very important. I've never done this before.
You're doing great.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
TikTok has taught Johnny Business an essential lesson, and it seems that sensory play is here to stay, for better or for worse. That doesn't mean it's without criticism, 'cause that said, personal tangent, I detest chunks. They keep putting chunks in my goo, and I hate them. The glitter, and the sparkles, and the confetti, the little plastic charms. Why? It interrupts the whole flow. It looks dirty. How can I appreciate the subtleties of texture, resistance, and viscosity when there's little plastic chunks floating around in it? You got your bits in my slime. Take them out. I don't want them. It's like chewing a blackberry, both the fruit or the phone. I don't get it. I'm a sensory boy living in a sensory world, and nothing about this appeals to me. Oh god, I'm exhausted. I need a break. Let's go take a load off with a little bit of kinetics. Kinetic sand. Squish the sand. Squish the kinetic sand. Squish it. Squish the kinetic sand. Squish it. Squish the kinetic. Here's a half-baked, barely considered opinion based on very little experience or data. Kinetic sand kind of makes me sad. It's like a good and fine product. It's fine that it exists. There's not like a reasonable criticism of it, but it's just sand, right? It moves weird, sure, but mostly it's sand, and playing with it is like playing with a big pile of kind of wet sand. You make the shape, you dig, you squish. What makes me sad is that it's indoor sand, productified sand. Middle-class sand, just sticky enough to be ostensibly easy to clean up. I'll even go so far as to say it's superior sand. Spin Master has effectively invented the better sand, making outdoor sand an inferior draw. Would I rather go to a sandbox in my backyard or on the playground, bathing in sunlight so my eyeballs stay round? Or would I rather play with Dr. Science's special grains on the kitchen table? Questions like this should not be asked, for no one is ready to answer them.
I'm not a kinetic sand man. I don't know how they work. I don't know what it is. I don't go here. But it looks really tasty.
I have no data to back up my concern, but when I was a kid, playing with sand was special. It had to be sought, worked for, and when we were done, we felt the grains in our socks and knew that we were truly alive on this earth. Do I think we should ban kinetic sand to get kids back out to the playgrounds? Absolutely not. But instead, I propose we improve all of the outdoor sand. Replace it! Make it kinetic! If all of humanity pools our resources, we can have fully kinetic beaches by 2035. I think that would fix me.
Could you tell me what the most exciting stuff is in kinetic sand right now?
Absolutely. So we launched this January with our Splash Starter Case. Now, this is the first time you can play with kinetic sand using water.
The Spin Master booth had this special kinetic sand varietal that you put in water, and it gives it yet more strange properties, color-changing effects, and whatnot. I suppose I admire the attempts to create innovative products around the sand, or innovative versions of the sand, but any gimmick that requires basins of temperature-specific water is bound to be used once and never again. I want to mention as well, although I'm focusing in on a very specific sort of satisfying toy in this video, it's obviously an incredibly broad genre, with a lot of stuff that wouldn't seem to fit at a glance. Specifically, I'll point you towards another video that I just uploaded, Card in the Corner, a deep dive into Geeker's line of techie, screen-free game toys. They don't have any of the goopy qualities that I've been focusing on so far, but they are examples of how satisfying tactile sensations and sounds can be added into otherwise normal games. Like the Super Decoder, a take on the Mastermind board game. The user interface is all done through this knob, which, actually, listen to this. It has a soft ratcheting feeling that syncs perfectly to each beep. And to turn the whole device on, there isn't a switch, but rather a chunky antenna that you flip out. It's designed from the ground up to feel and sound and look satisfying. And then there's this tic-tac-toe game, which makes this sound. Or this slide puzzle with magnetized pieces. Everything they make seems designed from the ground up with the oddly satisfying trend in mind. Designed to feel good as a means of justifying the physicality of them in an increasingly manipulative screen-based world. That's something good that can come out of a trend like this. You can keep your slime for a while, but eventually it's gonna get gross. While Geeker stuff doesn't. It's a bit of sensory play added into familiar games that last forever. I jumped at this sponsorship opportunity because I like what Geeker is doing, and my full video about Geeker ended up being a bit of a passion project of mine as I have explored these toys as a way to get myself out of phone addiction. So check out that video by clicking the card in the corner, or you can go ahead and get your hands on Geeker's games yourself with the link below and coupon code JETCUSO15 for 15% off. The last macro category we're going to talk about under the sensory play umbrella would be squishies. Most of these I find uninteresting, but many unexpected wonders were held within the walls of Orio.
They're just selling Orb? They trademarked Orb? Orb? Orb, is that a toy company?
Yes.
Just named Orb?
Orb Toys.
Could you show me some things about Orb?
Sure, who are you?
This is a very similar, it's a bit of the Stretcher Armstrong thing.
Yeah, except that you can pose these guys.
Oh,
so you can
yeah.
see, you can pose them in a million different ways.
And these are very frightening.
Here's a nice ASMR.
Oh, the easy squeezy banana.
Easy banana.
You know.
He needs one.
Why wouldn't
They're
you?
super.
I once had a kid when I was young tell me that you could get your head cut off if you get stuck inside one of those. Is that true?
I don't think so.
Okay.
None of this to mention the incredible toys booth, chock-a-block full of non-food. Silicone Patch Kids, Forios, toxic waste hazardously sour candy squishies. Don't eat them! Every day they add new unique dimensions to the Tide Pods debate. More like inedible toys. It's good because that better describes what they sell. This company, makers of Ooey Gooey Slime Surprise, had a set of blind box slime food kits. And they were quite honest with their thoughts about the inedible fake food toys issue.
When I was a child, all the Play-Doh commercials would make sure to say fun to play with, not to eat.
We're trusting the children.
I appreciate that. Respect the intelligence of children.
The rise of sensory play seems a general symptom of the toy industry skewing both younger and older at the same time. Older into high-end collectibles, and younger into products that transcend the need for consciousness itself. It creates a dissonance at Toy Fair, a fuzzy boundary, two circles that don't quite cross into a Venn diagram. It even transcends the fair because it doesn't come from the fair. It comes from social media. Is oddly satisfying content for kids? Is my content for adults? What about Logan Paul or Mr. Beast? The platforms and analytics push us to chase what works and never to think about what effect the slop actually has. Nowhere is this more apparent than in Gooey Gooey by Moose, a company who's made their slime packaging look like makeup, like adult cosmetics and skincare products.
We were inspired by trending skincare. We know girls are absolutely obsessed with their beauty routines and hauls. And this is actually cosmetic grade packaging. So you can see the beautiful jars you can put your slime in.
They know that kids who are far too young to know what they're looking at are being exposed to beauty content constantly. And I'll leave it to you whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, because it's not a simple subject, but it is happening. And the result is kids want to participate in what they are being shown. And so Moose has stepped in to offer a product that looks like cosmetics, but it's really just slime. They claim they're offering an alternative to answer a craving that social media has created without actually giving makeup to kids. Is it so noble? Or is it a cynical, profit-driven answer to a cynical, profit-driven problem? I'm not so sure there's a meaningful difference. It's a compelling Ouroboros, the oddly satisfying industrial complex which has spawned from the internet trends and created the internet trends, expanding the internet trends, chasing itself endlessly. We are the Ouroboros. And they want us thinking about the side effects, have us pondering the taste of our own tail, rather than questioning the fact that we are being made to eat ourselves. At Toy Fair, we see a bacterial colony, which began in the digital and which grows out into the physical when exposed to money. Into our hands it goes, and then back into the digital to start it all over again. We are the creator, the advertiser, the consumer, and the consumed all at once. And I fault no one for being or taking part in any given stage of the process. I just hope we can get ourselves out of it, especially when the compelling Ouroboros occurs with things more important than slime. Feed the machine by liking and subscribing. This is JetKuso, and I'll see you next time. Right now, you should go to patreon.com/JetKuso to become a patron of this channel. It helps me to make more, riskier, weirder, higher effort videos, and you get access to the JetKuso Discord server where you can chat and hang with what is quickly becoming a very cool little community of people who probably like all the same stuff that you do. So thank you to my Diamond patrons Lucid LANA, CHOOKA Bear, and RAZU RION, my Titan patrons Sierra 107, Gusano, Banana Jones, Chell, Douglas Fern, my Hyper patrons Trouble, Mudorios, Orio, Alyssa Gretlein, Forrest DC, HeartlineDai, Kevin Haji, Sam Caesar, James 17, Hateincarnate, and new base patron Jonathan Norris. Thanks guys!